What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Katsunika here back for another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. It is now Thursday, October 16th, getting closer and closer to what's going to be interesting. Isn't a great word to describe it, but it is against Indiana, number 3 team in the country. Biggest test, hardest game on the schedule for Michigan State without a shadow of a doubt. Ohio State's not on the schedule. Oregon's not on the schedule. Indiana's proven they're better than Oregon. Anyways, there's really no one else in the Big Ten that's super high up there on Michigan State's schedule. So this is the biggest opportunity left for Michigan State to kind of turn this thing around, at least instantly. Is there truly a path for Michigan State to go out and win this thing outright? Don't know. Because looking at the stats for Indiana, they're good everywhere. There is not a glaring weakness anywhere on Indiana's stats. They are 8th in the country in total offense, 4th in scoring. Defensively, they're 4th in scoring. Total defense, 4th as well. So they're top 10 in all 4 of those big categories of how many yards are you allowing, how many points you're allowing. Offensively and defensively, they're phenomenal as a unit. Michigan State's nowhere even close to that. They can put up points on anyone. They put up 30 in Autzen. That's not nothing against Oregon's defense. 20 against Iowa. Shake your day offensively for them, but you're playing Iowa in Kinnick. As long as you come out of the win there, that's kind of where teams of Indiana's caliber tend to go to die. They did not do that. Had a big touchdown. I think it was Surratt who scored it in the final 2 minutes of that game to go win that one. And they put up 63 on Illinois. Illinois is still a solid team. Played Ohio State pretty tough in Champaign last week. But they went into Bloomington. That's still Indiana's last home game. They went into Bloomington and it was ugly. 63-10. That's what you associate with Big Ten versus FCS. When that happened, it was 73-0 against Indiana State, 56 points against Kennesaw State, and only 27 against Old Dominion. That's when you're you kind of squint your eyes and I don't know how impressive that is, but Old Dominion is a solid G5 team. They crushed Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's not very good, but still they beat a Power 5 team, and they currently sit at 4-2. So Indiana, very, very good football team. The best Michigan State's going to play this season. There is not a stat that's bad on here. They're 131st going for it on 4th down. I'm going to guess that's 2 for 9, given the percentage there. But beyond that, there's nothing as far as a glaring weakness on that roster. So, what's Michigan State going to have to do? What players are going to have to play well for Michigan State to have any real shot in this one? And we're going to kind of talk about that because first things first, Aiden Childs might not play in this game. Took a hard hit against UCLA in the third quarter, did not return from that point. It was all Alessio Milivojevic from that point on, and I didn't think he played terrible. The completion percentage wasn't great, sub 50%, but again, it's one of the first times we've seen him in extended action. Had more passing yards than Childs, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. Similar amount of attempts. Had a touchdown pass to Nick Marsh. He was really throwing it to Nick Marsh a lot and seemed to have the most success when he was targeting number 6 out there. That was who the touchdown pass was to. So if Childs is out, that's a heck of a time to get your first start. If you're a redshirt freshman, was one of the part of Jonathan Smith's original recruiting class here. We've kind of talked about Smith's future ad nauseum at this point, what he has to do to kind of survive the season right now. But Milivojevic, it might be him on Saturday. He has to go up against one of the best defenses in the country in the Big Ten, so good luck, but you can't come out, you can't play competitive in this game with the quarterback. If that's Childs or Milivojevic, if either of them, whoever gets the start, if they don't have it, it's going to be an ugly game. Offensively as well, again, Indiana, not a lot of passing yards allowed, so you're going to need to see some better separation from the wide receivers. That seemed to be an issue against UCLA, which is not a defense remotely as good as Indiana's. But it seemed like Childs had some more time to pass against UCLA than he did against Nebraska, but didn't. But the you wouldn't know that given the output that Michigan State had offensively. So pass protection was better against UCLA, but it still didn't seem to matter. So it goes back to wide receivers have to get open. I don't think you're ever concerned about Nick Marsh doing that. So you're going to have to see someone else step up in the tight end room maybe and in the wide receiver room. So you'd really like to see Omari Kelly get the ball a lot more. He's been quiet the last two games. Christian McCray, you'd like to see a big game from him. You haven't really seen him get fed the ball in a game once so far this season. And then tight ends, Jack Velling, you can get some crossers with him maybe in the short game. Get some, especially if it's Milivojevic, you want to get some shorter passes dialed up earlier in the game to get him comfortable, to let him know, hey, you can do this. You can get into an offensive flow against this Hoosiers defense. Velling would be a part of that, and you like to see. I think Smith said Masunis is questionable for this game against Indiana, but if he's able to go, that would be big. If Masunis doesn't play, it would be an interesting conversation about Jaden Savory or Savory. I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it. It's one of those. They're talking about, do you burn the red shirt of him or not? If it's not him, it'd probably be Kai Rios. He got a few snaps in that game against UCLA. Sorry, brain work. But Rios got a couple of snaps. I think he had a drop in that one. He's a transfer in from Indiana State. Wasn't super productive offensively. It was more of a blocking prototype tight end for Michigan State right there. So offensively, that's in the skill groups. That's what you'd really like to see. Offensive line, though, there's some really good pass rushers on Indiana's defense. They have 22 sacks in 6 games so far this year. Several guys, you have linebackers getting involved, edge rushers, defensive linemen getting involved. Their top, though, guy so far has been a linebacker, Isaiah Jones. 10 tackles for loss and 4.5 sacks so far. He has an interception for good measure. He's a beast. So you have to, I mean, this all starts with the offensive line. Milivojevic, Childs, if he doesn't have time to throw the ball, it's not going to work. So you need to see a good day from the tackles. Connor Moore, it's probably going to be Moore and Ashton Lepo. Again, given that they stuck with Lepo after a real rough day at Nebraska. Played a lot better against UCLA, so it'll probably be them again against the Indiana Hoosiers. And you need to see some strong stuff on the interior offensive line. Golbin's always been fantastic. And then we'll have to see about Christian Phillips as well. Injuries are really piling up for this football team. And then Caleb Carter as well at the guard spot. Defensively, more again, Indiana's just loaded all over the place. It's really, I may as well just say everyone at this point, but more specifically, they have 2 wide receivers who are phenomenal. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper Jr., 2 guys who are in the top 10 in the Big Ten right now in yardage so far. Surratt was one of the guys Kurt Signetti brought over from James Madison when he took the job at IU. Had like 1,000-yard season in his final season at JMU. He's just picked up where he left off in the Big Ten. He's already at 533 receiving yards so far this season. Surratt is 7 touchdowns. Cooper not that far behind. He was a pretty good receiver for Indiana last year, but he's better this season, almost 30 more yards per game, 466 yards, 6 touchdowns there as well. There's a big drop-off after that. Third leading receiver, E.J. Williams, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, nothing to scoff at, but it's those 2 you got to worry about. So you got to see a good game from MSU's top 2 corners, Josh Eaton and Malcolm Bell. Try to stay close to them and force Mendoza to move on to some other reads there. And try to make him maybe even dump it down to the running back Roman Hemby, or maybe go to one of their tight ends. They don't get the tight ends super involved. Their leading tight end is Riley Nowakowski, only 8 catches, 87 yards through 6 games so far this season. So again, you're gonna need some good. You need good play everywhere, especially defensively with how much injuries Michigan State is dealing with right there. Jordan Hall has to be the leader of this defense once again. He's always been that type of guy, but we need to see a better defensive performance overall, because through 3 games for Michigan State, the 3 Big Ten opponents, they've all scored at least 38. Some of it wasn't the defense's fault against Nebraska, but USC can't really fault it. You can't really point the finger at anything else. Same thing goes for UCLA. There wasn't a whole lot of – there was that after that 4th and 1, there was that short field, but there wasn't a whole bunch of other stuff like a block punt touchdown and a bunch of turnovers against USC and against UCLA. So yeah, once again, Friday I'll give you my prediction and final score for the game between Michigan State and not UCLA, Indiana. And hope you guys watch for that one. Keep tuning in here and keep checking on all of our content at Michigan State Spartans on SI, SpartanNation.com. And I'll see you guys around.